Thank you. Thank you very much. I have to echo what Steve had said earlier about Dave Fisher. Thank you, Fish, for everything. For people that don't know him, do yourself a favor and go check out. Fish is a great guy. I've been blessed to know him for quite a bit of time. So thank you, Fish. Congratulations to everybody else here, the other inductees here tonight. I get the question a lot now that I'm done playing. People ask, when did you know when it's time to stop? And I had a coach when I was younger tell me, play the game as long as you can until someone tells you you can't play anymore. Fortunately for me, I had 3 kids over there at the table that gave me subtle hints that it was time. My oldest son, Jax, started asking, Dad, why don't you score anymore? I don't know, man, it's tough. I'm trying. It's getting harder. The last few seasons, my daughter Emmy started to ask and started wearing my teammates' jerseys instead. She always wore mine. She started asking for the teammates. I never minded. I remember seeing some of my teammates before, their kids doing the same thing. Never minded when she was asking for McCarr, Brock Nelson. It was great. Happy to get it for you. Then she asked me for Matt Martin's jersey one day, and I love Matt, but that one hurt a little bit. Lastly, when I was in New York, my youngest son Theo, he told his classmates. Zdeno Chara was on our team there my first year in New York, and Theo told all of his classmates back at school that Zdeno Chara and I survived the Titanic hitting the iceberg, and we swam to shore. And I think that was in 1912, so he's hinting me, getting a little old. And then Theo also told his classmates that I didn't try in overtime in the 2010 Olympics. So I apologize. I grew up about 20 minutes down the road from here in Bloomington, and from what I can remember, I just wanted to be like my dad and play in the National Hockey League. He was always quick to remind me how hard it is to make it, what type of work ethic you need. But he said there was nothing better. When I was young, he always brought me to the Stars games, got to watch Modano, Broad, and Cicerelli. Loved going to those, and he always let me stay up late and watch the playoff games too. There was one time that he and I were going to go to the Stars game one night, and I was really sick, and I stayed home from school that day. I was throwing up, not feeling good. I skipped our team's practice. Still wanted to go to the game though, and was trying to convince my mom to let it happen. My mom said, the only way you're going to the game is if you eat dinner. So I said, all right. They made me my favorite food, poached egg on toast. Then they put it in front of me, and they left the room. And I tried taking a bite, couldn't eat. So I chucked it in the garbage. Naturally, they come back in 5 minutes. Yeah, I ate it. All good. Let's go to the game. They went and checked the garbage. Saw I was still in there. Sent me to my room. No chance of going to the game. About 5 minutes later, my dad comes upstairs, knocks on the door, and says, hurry up, you're going to be late for the game. I don't know what type of deal that he struck with my mom, but he knew how much I loved going down to the Met Center. My favorite time of the year was about right now, when he would walk down to the pond, down the street from our house, take his axe, and check if the ice was thick enough for us to skate. We would skate for hours out there and then run home as quick as we could, jam our feet up against the fence because we were just about to get frostbite on our toes. He raised us to be respectful and humble. He would always tell me, Dad, Zach, your job is to play, not report. He was my role model and my hero. Anytime I was younger, there was a news article or anything written about me, my mom would always ask. I was always referred to as son of former NHLer J.P. Parise. And my mom would always say, why don't they ever say son of Donna? You don't get any recognition. Well, Mom, here you go. A few weeks back, my wife Alicia, she sent me a link, and I'll quote this here, to studies showing that physical performance, traits like muscle strength, coordination, and oxygen capacity are strongly linked to the X chromosome, which you inherit from your mother. So if you can run fast, jump high, or dominate a sport, you should thank your mom. So I guess I got it all from you, Mom. Alicia did follow that up with a text to me saying, our kids are screwed. So, yeah. But seriously, the time that my mom spent driving us back and forth from hockey to baseball, back to hockey,
Now that I'm doing that with our kids, I really have a much better appreciation for what you guys did. She was always our biggest fan growing up. Mommy did an incredible job of raising us in a loving house and setting us up for the real world. There's a lot of paths to making it to the NHL, and I'm very lucky that my dad decided to take the job down at Shattuck St. Mary's. We had a good group of guys that are actually here tonight, a good group of guys that we would internally, we had a healthy internal competition with each other where each one of us wanted to be the best player, and without even realizing it, we were just pushing each other to become better and skate more and train harder. I ended up taking my dad's master key to the rink and making a copy of it, and I learned to drive the Zamboni, so we'd always have fresh ice. We'd go there when the rink guy was gone. I'd make ice, we'd play, and it was awesome. And during that time there, I was lucky enough to play for probably one of my favorite coaches of all time, Tom Ward, who is here tonight. Coach Ward pushed me to the limits, and he always echoed what my dad said about hard work, being a good teammate, and being a good person around campus. When I was trying to figure out where to go for college, I was skating in the summer at a camp, and my agent at the time, after I got off the ice, said, "Hey, someone wants to talk to you out in the lobby." So I showered up, I got out there, and Herb Brooks was standing out there, and Herb had been a family friend of ours for a long time. He and my dad coached the North Stars together. So we were just chatting, and he was asking, what I wanted to do with hockey, where did I want to go to school, and so we were talking, and he says, "Well, I think the best place for you to go for college, if you want to make it to the NHL, to prepare you, is North Dakota." So I scheduled my visits. North Dakota was my first official visit, and it happened to be over the time that they were just opening the new Ralph Engelstad Arena. Brand new rink, $100 million, better than the majority of the National Hockey League rinks that were out there. The game happened to be against the Gophers. All the alumni were in town for the game as well, and North Dakota ended up losing the game. I think it was 7-5. And after the game, Coach Blaze calls me into his office, asking about the visit, how'd everything go? And I said, it was great. I really enjoyed my time. The place was great. He says, "Well, do you think you could see yourself playing for the Sioux one day?" I said, "Yeah, it'd be great. Sounds pretty awesome." Well, Blaze stands up, shakes my hand, and says, "Welcome aboard," and leaves the room. And I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? And all the alumni come in, the assistant coaches come in, they say, "Congratulations, we're here to join, and we're here to join." And I call my parents, I say, "I think I just committed to North Dakota." I don't even know. And so the day I get back to Shattuck from my visit in North Dakota and come into the locker room for practice, and Coach Ward gives me this one, comes in the locker room to do that one. So I walk into his office, and he was asking how the visit went. He knew I committed there. And we were chatting a little bit, and he says to me, "What's your job now?" And I said, I think I gave him some cliche answer, lead the team to national championship, whatnot. And Coach Ward said, "Your job now is to help everyone in this room get a scholarship." And Coach Ward, he never let us forget that the team was always more important. I'm thankful for everything that you taught me about hockey, and really grateful for our friendship. Alicia and I met up at UND in Squires Dining Center. I think a handful of you guys were there too, my sophomore year. She has come a long way in the hockey world after growing up in a small farming town in North Dakota. I think before we started dating, I was trying to impress her, told her I got drafted, and her response was, "To the Army?" I said, "Oh, no, not to the Army." Fast forward, after watching about 1,200 NHL games, and this is a true story, almost understands icing. We had a conversation about it last night at our kids' games. As athletes, we have to live a very selfish life. It becomes about preparation for the next season, the next game, pregame naps, pregame meals. We all go through ups and downs in the season and in the career. I never had a bigger supporter than Alicia, and now that I've stepped out of hockey, I really have a much bigger appreciation for how she was able to do everything while I was gone. Getting 3 kids to hockey, sign us for camps, things at school, a lot of times just raising them by herself, all while she had to deal with a lot of my moods during the season. You're so selfless and always think of other people first. You've always been my rock when things go sideways, and kids, you really need to know how awesome of a mom you have. In 2003, In 2003, I was just like Scott. I was very fortunate to be drafted by Lou Lamoriello and the New Jersey Devils. Fresh off of them winning the third Stanley Cup, I was entering an organization where really being a quality person and committed to winning was a must. I'm sure everyone's heard the rules of when you play for Lou. We had rules. We always had to be clean shaven, no long hair, couldn't tuck in our jerseys. We always had to wear the same color shin pad tape that we were wearing socks, and we couldn't tape over the stripes on those socks. So it got a little confusing after a while. Lou also told us, and I'm sure him and Gary had this conversation, Lou also told us if the league didn't make me do it, I wouldn't have your names on the back of the jerseys. While I was there, I always wondered why we had these rules, and then when I left, I understood. Lou always reminded everybody that each player had your own roles and skills, and each one was equally as important to help the team win. I was in New Jersey. I was surrounded by a veteran team led by the best goalie of all time, Marty Brodeur, and I'm grateful for all those players showing me how to be a professional. While Lou, as Scott was saying too, as Lou ran a tight ship, he always made sure the only thing his players had to worry about was playing the game. He treated his players and his families with nothing but first class. The winter after I played for him with the Islanders, I was talking to a few of the guys out there, and a couple of them had played their 1,000th game, and they were telling me about how their kids got little replica silver sticks, and I joked with him that when I played mine, my kids got backpacks. And so somehow Lou caught wind of that, and about 3 weeks later, a package shows up to our house, and from the Islanders, and there was 3 little mini replica silver sticks in there with my name, my kids' names engraved on them, with all the teams that I played for. And that's the side of Lou that the public eye doesn't see. I was lucky to play for you for 9 seasons and learn from the best. I'm really, really humbled to join the Hall of Fame with Lou. With hockey being the epitome of a team sport, I have to thank every one of my teammates that made my career just so enjoyable. A few guys that are here tonight, Keith Ballard, Devin Dubnik, Eric Stahl, great teammates, lifelong friends. Especially want to thank my line mates. As a hockey player, we all know how important our line mates are. I was really fortunate to play with 2 great ones in New Jersey, both here tonight, Travis Zajac and Jamie Langenbrunner. Travis was also my roommate on the road and cribbage partner, and Jamie, who really treated me like family when I was out in New Jersey as a rookie, had me over to his house all the time and really took me in. Things you just don't forget. For my first couple of years, I was lucky enough to play on the wing with Scott Gomez, and just like Lou said, one of the few guys in the league that could just skate the puck end to end, and I was a recipient of a lot of those rushes and just backdoor tap-ins. But more importantly, Scott was, again, as I was a young guy, Scott always made sure that I was invited over to his place, out with the team, out for dinners. He really took care of me as a young player, and those are the things that, more than hockey, that I remember about Scott. Thanks to Adam Oates, who's probably one of the smartest hockey guys in the world. I was lucky to play for him as an assistant and a skills coach. Thanks to Chuck Fletcher and Craig Leopold for giving me the opportunity to come here and play hockey in Minnesota. Lastly, to my kids, with all the celebration here tonight that you guys are seeing, you 3 are by far my biggest accomplishments. Some of my favorite memories, and actually I saw Bruce had caught one, some of my favorite memories of my career are going to be of you guys standing on the glass during warm-ups and bringing you guys in the locker rooms after games. There's nothing that brings your mom and I more joy than watching you 3 grow. I said 2. You 3, you got 3 of you. You 3 grow into incredible humans. Our nights are now consumed with getting you to your practices and games, and I would not trade it for anything. I was fortunate to represent the United States and play in 2 World Junior Championships, 3 World Championships, a World Cup, and 2 Olympic Games. We won the first ever under-18 World Championship for the U.S. and the first ever gold medal at the World Juniors, along with a silver medal in 2010. I got to play with some of the best players to ever play the game, in Marty Brodeur, Patrick Kane, Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, and I got to play against some of the best that we'll ever see, and Mario Lemieux, Joe Sakic, Nick Lidstrom, Steve Yzerman. I'm honored to join this group of people in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, along with some of my favorite teammates and players I grew up idolizing in Matt Cullen, Jamie Langenbrunner, Mike Modano, and Neil Broughton, to name a few. Thank you to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame Selection Committee for this incredible honor. Thank you.